Shippuden.
Hello everyone, long time no talk. I realized my last speed paint series ended at episode 100. I'm okay with that, it's pretty much over. Anyway, so for this, I suppose you could call this a test or trial run. It sort of backfired by using an official character, but you'll see. So basically what I wanted to do was do a redesign video for any character really. I just happened to decide on Hinata Hyuga, my favorite character of all time, and yes, I am not exaggerating when I say that, because basically I have a top 4 few characters of all time that I love, and Hinata is the crown jewel of all 4. So I decided to choose her for this video today because, well, I love her, and I had some opinions on her general looks and everything. The reason I wanted to do this was pretty much I love watching people redesign characters on YouTube and explain their reasonings behind everything for, like, during a speed paint and do a voiceover and everything. And pretty much since I love seeing them, I decided I would try to make one. I don't know if I'll continue this. It was easy in a way because really this whole process only took 1 hour, so it was like a really fast video to make, but at the same time, so with that, basically, I suppose I'll start talking about the decisions I made in drawing / designing this part 2 Hinata. And you might see the short hair and be like, I think this is part 1 Hinata, but the thing is, that's sort of the point. I wanted to redesign Shippuden Hinata because there were certain aspects of Part 1 Hinata's design that I just loved so much and thought they should have kept for Part 2. For example, like, well, of course her hair is the obvious first thing you notice. It, is the short bob, I guess. I always loved that hairstyle. I was so sad to see that she grew her hair out in Part 2. Character-wise, you know, it's fine that she did, but, like, I just liked her short hair. So for this Part 2 redesign, I kept her short hair, and then I also always loved her the little fur bit at the end of her original hoodie. So I added that in as well, and then I used the pants from Part 2 and sort of the shoes from Part 1, as those are all, like, pretty much the main things. Of course, Part 1 Hinata's design was perfect. And so trying to do Part 2, a redesign of that, but incorporate some elements of Part 1, it was sort of like hurt my brain, I guess. I wanted to include parts that she had in Part 2, even though I just completely prefer Part 1. I guess you could say probably the only thing I didn't really care about were the little arm patches with the fire symbol, so I left those out. Of course, I based the main hoodie for this on her Part 2 version. Not because I like it better, but because I was like, I should probably add an element of Part 2 in this, or else I'm just drawing Part 1 Hinata, like... And that's sort of like the problem that I came across when I was drawing this picture, where I sort of consider this a bit of a failure. I realized as I was drawing this, Part 2 Hinata makes sense, and I didn't realize that, I guess. That's the thing, I knew Hinata was perfect, but it really solidified in my mind that her development, at least through Part 1 and Part 2, really made sense with how she ended up choosing how she appeared, and I'm speaking as if Hinata chose these things and not Masashi Kishimoto. That's just it. You may notice I also had references of Naruto the Last in the right corner. I really only had those for style reference. Honestly, I love the art style for Naruto the Last so much. It's pretty much the perfect Naruto style, even though I guess the old styles had more character to them. Naruto the Last was so pretty. So I had those references to the side. I have my opinions about her the last outfit, I guess. I feel like it was a complete heel turn for her character to have like the sleeveless shirt and the shorts. Basically she was very on trend in that design, which is okay. Like, I'm happy for her, like, that she, I guess, gained confidence to do so, but at the same time, I missed her shy characterization in what she wore in earlier content. Like, to my understanding, because I haven't watched Naruto the last, to my understanding, she's still her old self, being kind of reserved, so I just thought the last outfit, while I love it, like, don't get me wrong, I love her outfit in the last. I think it's very, very nice. I think she looks great. It's just that her character was sort of lost for me. So I really only included those references for style. Not that my art was too on style for Naruto the Last, but I tried. I still have a tiny bit more time to talk, so I guess I'll talk about how I felt when I first saw Naruto Shippuden references, like character art. I wasn't familiar with the manga by the time the anime of Shippuden came out, so I was really seeing their older designs for the first time in 2007 when sort of like the anime stuff was released for it. And I remember sitting at my computer, looking up on Google, being like, oh, what does everyone look like? I remember looking at Sakura and being like, oh man, she looks cool. And I remember seeing Hinata. First, I was like, did the whole fan squeak thing of like, oh my gosh, look at her. She looks great. I'm so happy to see her. Honestly, like, seeing her in any content of Naruto made me so happy because at the time, she was sort of more of or I guess less of a main protagonist. I mean, she was one of the Rookie 9, but like, at the same time, she didn't get as much attention as a lot of other characters. But that's okay, I mean, look at her now. But at the time, I was definitely just very hyped to see her in all her glory. But I remember at the time, I sort of had mixed feelings. I was like, oh, it's so great. I'm just kind of sad they grew her hair out, which is what I, kind of touched on at the beginning of the video, where it's just, I just prefer her short hair. I mean, her long hair looks great in a lot of the different things that have come out of Naruto, like, again, Naruto the Last, she looks absolutely beautiful in. It's just, the short hair just feels so iconic. It's just so good. And this was my problem throughout the whole design process. It was just, I loved all of her different references. I mean, I had certain gripes with them, but like, as I worked on this whole redesign reference, I was just sitting there, and the more I worked on it, the more I was like, man, I barely changed anything. This is sort of feeling unneeded, unnecessary, and yeah, basically all I changed for Naruto Shippuden Hinata redesign, all I really changed was I gave that hoodie the fur, I cut her hair, and I gave her different shoes, because I never really liked those open shoes that she had in Shippuden. But yeah, those are really the only things I changed. I feel a little ashamed that I tried to do this thing of like, oh, I love redesign videos, let me try my hand. And then I just completely fail by being like, I love this character too much. I can't possibly change that much about her. She's perfect as she is. But yeah, that's the point of the title of this video, is like attempting a redesign and realizing Hinata's perfect. But yeah, that's all the time I had for this video. I hope you enjoyed this drawing of Hinata? I guess you could consider this just a regular old fan art of Hinata, where her hoodie is just a little mixed around. But the intention was a redesign for Shippuden. Sad, but true. We'll see if I do any more of these, as this video was sort of, turned out as it did. My plans were to do like a Yang redesign, like a Yang Volume 1 redesign from Ruby, but at this point, I mean, Yang is like number 2 in my slots of like top 4 favorite characters, so if that's the case, I might not be able to change much on her Volume 1 design either. There are things that I would change, but either way. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time, whether it be in a drawing video or in an animation video. Thanks for all your support. Bye-bye!